Pre-lesson 2-1, day 2. Now, some of you out there, you got a driver's license. Some of you maybe don't. Driving a car forward, get used to that. All of a sudden, you have to put it in reverse. On top of that, maybe you have to put it in reverse with a trailer on the back. Now you got to really think your way through it. It feels different. Some people never master it. That's what math is doing to you today. So what we've been doing is we've been going from the equation to the language of transformations and also to graphing. Now they're going to give you clues, more like a story problem. Don't panic. And now you're going to have to build the equation. You just have to think backwards. Put it in reverse and look backwards. So here we go. I started with the easiest problem possible just to kind of build off that. So finding the equation of a parabola / quadratic. So first of all, understand the instructions. Sometimes they'll just flat out say, find the equation of the parabola with the given information. Sometimes they'll twist it up on you and say, what's the formula or equation or function? All those things mean the same thing of the quadratic. Get used to that. So, example 1. The quadratic has vertex 0, 0. So I like to sing a little song by Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart, old school rock and roll guy. He sings a song and it goes a little something like this. Every picture tells a story, don't it? So that's what I think most of you need. I do. I'm a good learner from the visual. Some of you won't need to do this, but I recommend it, especially as you get started. So my vertex is 0, 0. And then it opens up upward. So, okay, that means A is positive and has no vertical or horizontal stretch or shrink. That also means this is a 1. Now, letter B, that's not going to pop up too often. So unless we have a whole lesson on that, it's just going to be 1. Now, sometimes it can be negative, and that will reflect it over the y-axis, but it doesn't seem to pop up too much. What we're going to be concerned with is, did the vertex move to the right of what we would call the parent function at all? Not at all. So that means there is no C. And then, did the vertex move up or down in this situation? No, because the vertex is 0, 0. So we now know there's no D. So really, if we just let this thing all just smush together, this is the description of this. And what we have is just the normal parabola. So this would be my answer, because technically my answer would be y equals 1x squared. So this was just describing your parent function. Now we're going to build off of that. I'm going to pause a second. All right, just need some more space. Problem number 2. Always start with the vertex. Always. Because this is my letter C adjustment. This is my letter D adjustment to the vertex. So when I take this generic equation and I say, okay, if y equals x squared looks like this, and they're telling me, hey, now your vertex, which is this right here, is moved left 2, we say, okay, we can make that adjustment. We know that's going to be plus 2. And it also shifts up 3, so we know that that's going to be plus 3. Now, if we actually take a second, remember my little song I sang you? I won't kill you again with that, but now we're going to move it left 2, up 3, and now we know we've moved the parent function to there. Again, my drawing's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's giving me the gist. Now, then it says, as a next clue, your y-intercept is -1. Now, why would they give that to us? Well, notice I drew my drawing like this. They're telling me my y-intercept is -1. I've got to make some adjustments. That tells me it does not open up upwards, which, you know what that means? It's telling me A is negative because it's going to reflect over the x-axis, and it's going to come down like this. Now, is my drawing perfect? No. Now, what is that? Well, that's 0, -1. So really, when they tell you this, they're telling you, hey, there's a point that we know about where x is 0, y is -1. Now, why is that significant? Because if I take this thing, remember I told you that b is just going to be 1. We're not going to worry about that too much, so we're just going to put a 1 in there. The only thing we still need to find is a. So I want you to notice, I know a point here, x is 0 and y is -1. And I'm going to put those in here, and the only variable that's going to be remaining is the variable I need to find. So y is -1, a is what we're trying to find, 1 times x is just going to be 0, because 1 times 0, that's my x, is 0, plus 2 plus 3. Now we're going to clean this thing up a little bit. I know that I'm going to subtract 3 here and subtract 3 here, and I'm going to clean this up because these are attached by multiplication. That's just 2a. So I get -4 from this equals 2a. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and I get -2. Remember we said a is going to be negative? The formula is going to do that for us, but it's kind of like a checklist as you move forward. Did I get a negative? And the answer is yes. So if a is -2, I'm going to put it right back here, and I have the equation of the quadratic explained by these clues. Now some of you are like, well, why didn't you plug in -2, 3? That's a point also. If I did that, that's not really going to help me because I had y equals a x plus 2 plus 3. If I plug this point in, I get 3 equals a times x, which is -2 plus 2 plus 3. And I'd get, and if I said, hey, what does this even give me? Well, that's 0a. That would cancel, and I'd just get 3 equals 3. The letter that I'm trying to find just disappears. That's why they gave us this other clue. They simply gave us another point that the parabola goes through that we're able to plug into the original, and then we're actually able to find a. So plugging in the vertex is not going to be helpful. Keep that in mind. Okay, last example of the pre-lesson. This is going to reflect the previous example, so maybe you'll see the repetitiveness of it. Remember what I said, start here. Also, I want you to notice I already put b as 1. So we're not going to get all bent out of shape about that letter. Now, what if it's a 2? What if it's a 3? That's coming, but not for now. So relax on that. I said start here. Well, what does that mean? This is my C adjustment. This is my D adjustment, because if I actually said, hey, where's that vertex? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. So it shifted right 3. Let's make that adjustment right here. So it'd be x plus 3. Whoops, screwed that up. Minus 3 squared. Don't forget the squared. And then it also moves up 4. So I go, okay, that's where I just say plus 4. Now, I got my A to find still. How am I going to find that? That's why they gave us this clue right here. Now the picture, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means it's going to be kind of flat like that. And my gut is that this is going to be a fraction because that's a compression vertically. You can just see it. So I'm going to stick my x value in, my y value in of my other point, not my vertex now, my other point. So y is 6. I'm trying to find a. X is 0, minus 3 squared plus 4. Now I'm going to take care of that 4 right now. Bring it over to the other side. And markers are dying on me. 6 minus 4 is 2. Negative 3 squared is 9. So I get 9a. Divide by 9, divide by 9. I get a is 2/9. Now this is the first time you've had a weird fraction, the letter a, but it is what it is. So now we're going to take that and we're going to put it right here, 2/9. Notice it's positive and it opens upwards. Looks good. All right. I think you guys should be ready to tackle some of these. Now, a couple sample problems if you need them, or if you're just ready to dive into some of your homework problems, dive in. Actually, I shouldn't have encouraged you just to skip the sample problems. The sample problems are kind of life application story problems. So they're what I just showed you, just kind of disguised in a story problem. But don't let the story problem part of it freak you out. The system is the same. You just have to look for the same clues in a different looking problem. So I would really encourage you to look at those example problems. All right.